Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
go ahead.
right. Can
Take it
everybody hear
away,
me okay?
Ellen.
Okay, everybody can hear me okay?
We got a thumbs up.
Okay, very good. All right,
Yep.
so I don't see anyone, so I'm just going to go ahead and give the summary. My name is Eleonora Filopoulos. I am the Director of Architecture Design and Campus at Western Michigan University, and I'm also a longtime standing faculty instructor for the Interior Architecture program now for about, I don't know, 16 or so years. And the program for the study abroad Greece has been running that I piloted back in 2015, and it's been running every year since, except for the year prior to this last year. So the last time we went was in 2020, and then just again in 23. And so what I have put together today is some slides that just kind of give you an overview of the program, what to expect, and some other detailed information that in terms of what course it satisfies, that can be gained from either your instructors, Kim, or your advisor, Dustin. So with that, I'll go ahead and start talking about this first slide here. So these are photographs that I have taken over the years and that you can see some of the spaces and places that we've been to in Greece. Every year it's a different program depending on what's happening in the country, and also things that are more appropriate for the time that we're traveling. And in this case, for 2024, it's going to be running during spring break. So a little bit here that I have shown here is Greece is the birthplace of democracy and the cradle of Western civilization. And Greece really offers an extraordinary opportunity for people to have a unique learning experience just because there's so many things that originated in Greece. And there's a combination of things that happen through time that you see old with new. So it's a wonderful experience to see how that is blended together and how you can relate it to your own experience here in the States. A little bit about me. I'm native to Kalamazoo, but my family is from Greece. So I'm first generation Greek American, and I am fluent in Greek. I lived and worked in Greece for several years. And since then, I travel there all the time, usually maybe 2 times a year. So I'm very well networked, and I know I've traveled extensively throughout all of Greece. So here's an example here of a page of a place that we visited in northern Greece. It's called Meteora, and this was one of the visits that we went, which is really high up in the rock formations, and you see unique architecture that's really built right on top of those rocks. And this program here is geared towards your education in interior architecture, and you'll gain experience in how it relates to history and things that are pertinent to the design industry today. So this is open to all students. It's open to undergrad students. I do leave it fluid. So if you're a student of the product design group or the interior architecture group, or even art majors, those are things that I think are welcoming to this trip because it's very pertinent to what is seen while we're there. And students, they're required to have travel degrees for this program. So essentially, we will be together. We'll include different visiting sites in the country. There's no book that's required for this class, and assignments really include things that I'll have another page here in the slide that you'll see all the points and requirements that are expected for this class. So prior to going, we do have a pre-orientation. You do have the opportunity to either travel together or you can travel independently. The only caveat is that you're there the day that the class begins. I do share my itinerary once we have the program approved. So those of you that want to travel with me, we would go there together, and we would do the whole program in sequence from thereafter. This program, in terms of the costs and everything is included. So once you sign up for the class and you commit to the class, program fees include the actual course. It also includes the program fee, which encompasses the hotel reservations. It encompasses all travel that takes place in the country, 1 meal per day, as well as all of the entrance fees that we go to and visit throughout the sites as we travel. So this is, I think, the most important page that I want to focus on. It really dives into the process and the application process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to click here as a hyperlink so I can kind of walk you through, because really the best thing that we can do is, if you're interested, that you sign up in the at the site where it's the study abroad site. And I don't know, Kim, if you can see this page.
Yes, yep, we can see your internet page.
Okay, good. So the internet page, this is really, if you go to any site at Western's homepage, you'll usually see an A through Z directory. If you can see my mouse here at the top. So if you click on this A through Z, it'll give you the A through Z fast quick selector for pages. So what you want to do is hit on S. When you click on S, it'll take you down to all of the listing of the departments on campus, and then you'll see the study abroad. So you want to click on the study abroad page. Once you get here, it'll take you to the home page for study abroad, which is housed out of the Henneke Institute for Global Education. And this is their main home page. And if you notice, here on the side is their directory, and you want to click on Explore and Apply. Once you get here, it really gives you a chance to look at what programs are available. So if you scroll down, you'll notice here there's a #1 faculty-led program. And when you click on this, that will take you to the listing of all the courses that are faculty-led. So basically that means it's a faculty-led course, which is what this is. And you travel to the country with the faculty that's in charge. And here is the listing of all the courses. And because this one starts with the W, it's kind of at the bottom because it goes in alpha order. So it's right here. You'll see Athens, Western Roots of Design. So you click on this hyperlink, and then it takes you to the basis. And this is typical for all study abroad programs at Western. And here there's an overview that talks about more of the specifics. So when we finish with this intro section, it'll give you a chance to look through, carefully and see if this is right for you. And everything is updated. So the overview here, these are some of the wordings that I provided for them to upload here. It's a 10-day trip, and our departure is March 1st through March 10. So March 1st is the first day. I think it's Spirit Day. It's a Friday. And we would travel to Greece on that day. And then on March 10, that is the departure day. So that's March 10 is the day, I believe it's a Sunday, that you would leave Greece and fly home to your hometown destination that you left from. So again, everyone, in terms of this whole program, when you apply for this program, all costs are included with exception of your plane ticket. That's something that you do on your own, and you purchase that ticket once you have the itinerary of your instructor, which is me. I'll share that with you, and then you can align your trip accordingly. So those are the dates, and you can see here there's a location. So it kind of gives you a map here. You can see, where Greece is located. It's in Europe, and it's one of the southern countries. So it has mild weather during this time of year that we're traveling. If we were traveling in the summertime, let's say, it would be very hot. So March is springtime weather. So it's highly advised to have layers of clothing so you're very comfortable. So as you get warm, because there is a lot of sunlight there, you can layer up and layer down as the temperature changes. So here's a location here on this website that you can find more information to see where we're traveling. And for this year, the program is going to involve the main section, which we'll be traveling to, is the Attica region, which is where Athens is. So it'll be part Athens, and then there will also be traveling to the southernmost region of that peninsula. Then we will also be traveling to the Peloponnese prefecture, which is, I'm sure you've heard of Sparta, Michigan State. That area is where we'll be traveling in that whole prefecture of the Peloponnese area where the Olympics started. There's many sites to see, and it's a quite extensive part of Greece and very, very rich in its history and in its design foundation. So we'll be traveling there. I will be incorporating one island into the trip, and there's also an option to have a free day, which can also include another travel to an island if for those students that are interested. So there's other topics here, this webpage, like safety. If you're interested in finding out a little bit more about what's necessary, the academics, here are the learning objectives, that it's a 3-credit class. And again, it does satisfy, from what I understand, 2 programs. So you can talk to your faculty instructors there in the design program. They can give you the details as to which courses those are. The cost, this will be renewed, but it's factored in, price increases from last year to this year, with trending costs across the market. And this really is a synopsis of looking at what the program fee is. So again, the program fee is everything that involves the transportation in the country, the room and board in the country, all fees that we pay to get into the sites, and 1 meal every morning that comes with the hotel stay that we're at. In addition to this, just so you all know, and maybe you've talked to others who have come on these trips, I do provide many meals as we participate as a means of culture learning. So that is also embedded. So quite often students really have very minimal expenses when it comes to food. Other costs, which are in here for miscellaneous, like this 260 that you see here, that is for your own measure. Like if you want to do shopping or if you want extra things while you're there, for that to consider. There is no visa that's required to travel to Greece. There's no immunizations that are required. I always recommend to have, if you've done any type of vaccine for COVID, to have that with you, because that's something that's fairly new in our travel things. Everything is lifted. There is no requirement, but if you do have that information, I always typically like to bring that with me. And here you can see a breakdown of like the tuition cost. That's about $1,900 for the tuition. Room, it's the room in terms of the hotel accommodations. I do have students stay in hotels. They're based on a 2 or 3 occupancy, depending on how the numbers work out with the class. For example, if there's an odd number of people, there may be 3 to a room. And depending on the hotel, how I work out those accommodations, sometimes they have large suites and that may accommodate 3 people. But we have time to figure that out in the midst of understanding how many people will sign up for this class. Books, like I said, there's no books. We require no textbook for this class. And these are all things that are just earmarked here for the cost. And the total is roughly $8,745. Although if there are more students that participate, let's say, I think I heard Kim mention like there might be 9 or 10 of you on this call or more. And so if we have a turnout of 9 or 10, this cost would go down. So it just helps getting reduction, kind of like when you buy in bulk, that kind of thing. It just, it's the economies of scale, as they say. So this does have room of getting better, and it's just a ballpark right now. I haven't gotten any quotes yet. So I wanted to have this conversation with all of you, at least so you can see me, get to meet me. And depending on how your decisions are made, that will impact how I start getting my quotes for how many rooms we'll need and what type of transportation we'll be needing. And housing we talked about. So dates. So this is really important to know. The dates that we would depart, as I said, was on March 1st. Like these dates this year are really easy to remember. So March 1 through March 10. When we go to Europe, we lose, there's 7 hours ahead of us. So when we're traveling, we're like losing 7 hours. But when you come back, you gain those 7 hours. So when we travel on the 1st, we actually arrive on the 2nd. But when you come back on the 10th, you arrive on the 10th. So I guess you gain that back. The most important thing that I really want to share is the deadlines, because I know you guys all have a lot of things that you have to balance and juggle. You're in the middle of your semester already. And what I would recommend is, if you're even this much inclined of going to the program, of participating, let's say you're 40%, you're on the fence, you're not sure, I would suggest go ahead and put in your application. There's a lot of steps and you have to go through and you have to click. I may try to do one here just to see if I can do it, but I don't want to mess up the system. But you want to go ahead and get the application in. What that does is it puts it in our hoppers where we can see how many people are interested. And then we review it. And I think there's also a recommendation. You need to get a recommendation letter from one of your faculty. And it's just a letter you put in your application. And you upload certain things. So I think it's fairly easy. You could probably get it done in 1 to 2 days max. It's not that complicated. And really it's a click and read. You want to make sure you read all of the information, but it's pleasant reading. And then once you get your application in, then I review it. Everything looks good, then I approve. That just means that, yep, I seen your application. You meet all the requirements because there's like a baseline GPA that you need to have. And you have to be a good student and good student conduct standing with the university and other factors. And I look at that and I say, okay, good, approved. So that just means right there is that you're approved and you're okay to take the class. Then there's another step that requires you to actually make the decision. So when you have to make the decision, when you want to talk to your family or do your own personal planning, that decision really is October 31st. So Halloween. So just about what, four weeks away. So I think there's good time. This goes in alignment with all other programs that are traveling during the spring break. So it's pretty much, if you're going on any spring break trip, they ask that you have your commitment in by then. So it basically would mean in the upcoming 2 weeks to make some decisions. If you're going to apply, make sure you get your application in. Then I'll review, get back to you, and then you'll know that you've been accepted. And then from there, that's when you have to dial in your commitment. So I know sometimes we think, well, I'll do it only if I'm committing, but I would say no, try to get your information in so that we don't have to delay that. That way we can see. And then also I can reach out to you and ask if you have any questions, if you want me to talk to your people who help you make these decisions, I can help with that. And it's just, it goes for a much, much smoother process. So if there is interest, I would say get your application in within the next, 10 to 12 days. And then we'll talk again, and then you can make your decision once you get the acceptance letter to take the class. So I'm emphasizing this because often those deadlines are missed, and then it kind of puts things, it doesn't work to our advantage. So another reason to also get your applications in and to really hold to these deadlines is that you can get a reduced cost for your airfare. So let's say several of you've decided, okay, you're taking the class, you put in your application, I review it, you get accepted, you're in the program. And then after that, if everyone is approved that's made their application, we could have notice even before October 31st. Let's say if you decide to commit, and then we can all start looking for airline tickets. So the sooner we get those, the cheaper those are. So, maybe it'll drop the price of the ticket by, X number of dollars, which helps. Every little bit helps. There are also, I believe, there's scholarships that students can sign up for. There's the Higgies scholarships, and I think, Kim, I see you nodding. If those can be shared with students, and I think there is one of the department perhaps, so we can look into those too. Every little bit helps, if you can get several hundred here, several hundred there, that can help with your expenses as well. Another reason why we're doing it during spring break is because costs are much less in Greece. The weather's much more mild. We are eliminating a lot of the long lines and the waits, even though there's still millions of people traveling to Greece all year round. So, but this does work to our advantage. So it's a very comfortable time to go. The weather and the prices, all of that, and even the air travel, I think is it's definitely advantageous for us to travel. And there's also that tuition cost difference that it's less if you take it when you're taking classes in the spring than if I were to offer it during the summer. So I hope I answered some of those questions there. And I can open it up for questions if there's anything I can answer right now before I go back to the slide.
I might just jump in for a second about the scholarships. If everybody remembers an email that Dustin sent out maybe a month ago about excellence distinction scholarship awards, and there was a link that went to a website called Slide Room, and that is where you can apply for departmental scholarships. There's a number of them. Apply by, I'll put the link in our chat too. Apply by November 2 to be awarded funds, scholarship funds in the spring. And then those get applied to tuition costs. So I will put the link and more information about those in the chat, but also if you were to search your email from Dustin and then keyword scholarship, his original email should come up that has more extensive information on that. And it does look like we have some questions in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's, how do I apply for a passport? And is this the only opportunity we will have to study abroad?
Well, I guess it depends on, okay, so for the passport, you would go through, you can ask the study abroad office, they can help you. That is also a resource. You can send me an email and I could put you in direct contact with the study abroad office. They can help you with that. But then there's also, you can go online and see if you can do a submittal. I know that you have to do that way in advance. So if you need to get a passport, now would be the time, and you may even want to expedite, because I hear that I think there's something looming right now with the government shutdown and different things that we hear on the news. And they may have a backlog. So I would say that would be something to be put way high on your list to get that expedited. I did have students that did that this last time we went in March, and they did get theirs in time. But they wish they had expedited their application, because if they had some others that did expedite, they got it really quickly. So when you're making those decisions, it might help to get that done and squared away as soon as possible. I would say in October. Yeah, okay. And then the other question was, oh, if this is the only one. So
Yeah.
it depends. Is the student asking this? Are they in their freshman or sophomore year?
Second year student.
Second year student. So I run the program every year. So if they're not able to go this year, we can certainly look at it for next year, for 2025.
Yeah, and
So that would be, yeah.
we got a notification that there's a number of study abroad trips that relate to business courses as well that we have as required in the interior architecture program. But look for on the website that Eleanor was showing us, you can look for what classes are required for your degree and if there are opportunities that could count for those credits. And another question, when it comes to flights, are we going to be using a specific airline and airport?
Yeah, so it's open to the student to make that decision. So what I'll do is, as soon as everyone puts their application, I approve their application, then they commit to the program. As soon as they commit to the program, there's no refund. That means it's a solid decision. Then that's my flag. Once we have enough students to go on the program, then I go and get my ticket. Then I share my ticket with everyone, and students have a choice. Either they can have the same itinerary as me, same flight, or they can, let's say they have frequent flyer miles. Let's say you're going to be flying out of Detroit and I'm flying out of Chicago as an example. That's up to the student. So whatever you feel comfortable doing, but if you do want to travel with me, then I will share my itinerary for you to hop on and join that same flight path. Does that answer the question for that?
I think so.
Yeah, and I have had students do both. I've had students meet me out there. I've had like students that, let's say they were both from Detroit and they flew with Delta. And I said, great. I gave them all detailed information. They knew exactly where to go and how to get to the hotel. So everything went just really smooth. So I also have, I'm well networked there. So if you're there and something happens, I have lots of backup plans as to how I can accommodate in the event something is needed. So yeah, so there's flexibility there. You can do both.
Yeah, I did put the link to the scholarship where you would submit your applications in the chat for anybody wanting to apply for a departmental scholarship to apply towards spring. So that could be a really great way to help complement or supplement any additional costs that you might be incurring for this as well.
Yeah, the scholarships really have helped all students. Is there another question?
That's all the questions we have in the chat right now.
Okay, so I'll just keep going through this slide show that I have here. So again, you have to have, there's no visa that's required for United States citizens to fly into Greece. No immunizations are required. A valid passport is required. And keep in mind that your expiration date must be 6 months beyond the travel date. So that means if we're coming back on March 10, you need to tack on 6 months after that for them to allow you to use your passport. So if your passport expires in April, it needs to be renewed, if that makes sense. So it needs to be 6 months beyond. So it needs to expire sometime after September 10th of 2024 if you were to have that passport be useful to you. Insurance, WMU, Western, they provide health insurance for all students during their travel. And then here's another summary of those costs that you saw. I kind of rounded up so it just would look cleaner on this, but these are some quick facts of costs that could be. And again, this program fee can be lower if we have numerous students signing up for the class. That does get impacted. So that has room to become less if we have many students signing up for the class. And so just to touch a little bit on the academic side for the class. I put down here, I thought it would be helpful for you to see, this is what's on the syllabus. I've kind of changed it from previous years, and I really am trying to put more emphasis on the participation and the preparation before we go. We'll have 3 classes that will meet together in person in Corman, where I'll just be reviewing the historical information for Greece, things that are relevant, and also preparatory things that you need to know so that we can have that you're well informed before you travel. So that will be things that we'll be covering extensively in those class sessions. So that's where I say pre-departure classes. At the beginning, I will have you do like a personal bio, talk a little bit about yourself so we can get to know each other. And then a topical briefing. So this is where I say research topic, where I'll have all students research something that they want to explore more while we're there. And I'll create a list. And from that list, the student will pick a topic that they'd like to explore. And you can see here in the image, one year, a student wanted to look at gateways, doorways, like entrance points. And it was really interesting. And so you can see it in this image here. But she had a lot to say. And she was looking at the porticos and the different facades, and she had so much information that it went into a supplementary document. But this year, when we do the student exhibit, as you can see here, that there's an exhibit that's going to be required 40 points. That's going to be a live event. So you really have some opportunities to have a large poster. It's going to be a rolled paper. It's not going to be on hard foam core board, so that'll reduce costs. And we'll magnetize or clip it up in Corman in the RIDI gallery there. And you'll be able to display your topic. So while you were there, you were exploring and you were finding different things. And it may be sites that we went, it may be the cuisine, it may be the culture, it may be some of the historical factors. So you'll be infusing this into your presentation exhibit, where you'll be able to talk to it and share with other students. It's really going to be neat because we're going to do a celebration point of, where we did, where we went, what we did, things that were learned, observed, maybe life-changing moments that were something that touched you in a certain way. So I think that will be a great opportunity to share. So that's going to be an exhibit of more of like a celebration, but a chance for you to reflect and utilize your design skills in terms of the principles and elements of design, using your graphic design, articulating what you're thinking, what you observed, and synthesizing that together in a presentation format that really expresses what you're trying to say. So that's really, in essence, everything that's going on for this trip academically. So I think as we go, you're working up to that point that you can actually share your story. So I hope this page kind of captures that for you so you know what to expect in terms of what you need to produce. And then these next two slides just show a lot of pictures. This picture here is when we went just now in spring of March. So you may recognize some of these students in your class, I think. So you may know Jared here. And other years where we went to another art college that's in the middle of Athens. We may be able to do that this year too. Museums, artifacts, exposure to the outdoors and the natural environment and sustainability. You know, nice hotel rooms that we can capture. The Parthenon. This actually here is not the Parthenon. This here is the Sunio, which is at the very southern point that we will be going there too. That's in the Attica, most southern point of the Attica region. So here's the Parthenon here. This is at the Art College Plaza, where we saw the School of Architecture there in Athens. And this here is definitely going to be a site that we're going to go. I had students run. This is the first mounting plate for the Olympic run. So I had students actually line up and they did the run down the whole Olympic corridor there. So it was the first. So that was neat that they did that. And other sites that we go and we're walking through the exhibits. So many of them are outdoors and indoors. So there's a combination of both. And that is my last slide. So any other questions?
There was another question in the chat.
Okay.
Approximate cost for the student to pay. So I think on one of your slides, it said approximate cost. Yeah.
Right here.
Yep.
So out the door. So out the door is going to be somewhere in this range. Okay. Does that make sense? So that's everything. So that's your tuition, that's your flight, that's your expenses, and your program fee.
Okay.
I would say be safe. It's going to be close to 8,000. And, you know, give or take, we have to see how many students are going to sign up. The sooner you sign up, the sooner we commit, the sooner I can get prices down and we can get tickets, and that all helps the bottom line go lower.
We do have 18, aside from us, we have 18 students on the call right now.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity.
I see Adam. I think it says Adam. Is that you?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Adam. It's great to meet you.
It's great to meet you too.
I just have a few questions and I just would rather ask them in person versus texting them out over chat. So one is like, how often do we meet before the actual trip and after? Is it like an every month and every week thing?
It's a total of 4 times.
4 times?
3,
okay.
Yep. So 3 before we leave. And I actually have the dates. I could pull them up actually here. You just hang tight. And then 1 post, which is afterwards for the celebration, for the exhibit.
All right. Awesome. Another question is like, for Greek language going into Greece, is there like certain aspects you think that we should like try to learn or like would be supplemental for us to learn while we're there?
Yes, I'm going to give that to you. I'm going to give you some catchphrases and some helpful things to know. Obviously, there's Google Translate. There's so many different things that you can use, but most people speak English. Most signs are in English. Let's say at the airport, points of transportation. Even though we're together the majority of the time, their language, I would say, is not a barrier. But I will give some introductory, some fun things, and I talk a little bit about linguistics and the history of the Greek language and how you can actually relate to it. So yes, that's a great question.
Awesome. I have one more.
Yeah.
For dress code, going on this trip along with it being springtime, also trying to be culturally like sensitive, what are like some good like dress codes that we should be while we're there? Clothes.
So I would say casual and comfortable.
Okay.
So they're a very accommodating culture. So if we were to go into a monastery environment, they usually have things that people like for certain garments that could be placed on. But for the most part, if it's not fully exposed, like spaghetti straps, which we really won't because it's not hot, I really don't think there'll be any issue. Just very important to pack light because we're on the go and we're together. We have packed days. I mean, the days start at, I would say 9 o'clock on average. It may be 8:30, because we'll have breakfast, that kind of thing. But then we're like 9 o'clock, we're out there, we're enjoying ourselves, we're at different places. The days are long. I know some other programs, they end like at 1 or 2 or 3 p.m., let's say. And then they leave students to go free, where because I am so native and I am Greek, our days tend to go much longer. But there is one thing that's good. So our days may end at 9, they may end at 10, they may end at 11 p.m. But I'm always factoring in the group, like how's the group feeling? How are we doing? So there's negotiations that happen. So if people are like really, they're kind of capped out, because there's always something to do. So for example, if we're in Athens and our program is complete, let's say by 6 o'clock we're done, then I pose the question, okay, here's some options. We can shower, take a break, take a nap, you can talk to your loved ones, we can do this, that, and the other, and then we'll meet down again, let's say at 8 o'clock, and we'll do like a walking tour or something. So the days are quite flexible and long to the needs and desires of the group. So, and it varies over from year to year, group to group. And I ebb and flow with that accordingly, but I do make sure we get our core program that's complete. And then there's a lot of extra that happens, as the day keeps going. So yeah, so for clothing, be very comfortable, pack light, pack casual, and layers. It's always good to have layers, because in Greece you may be in the hot sunlight, and then the next minute it might be breezy. There might be a cloud coming over, and then you might get chilly. So you want to layer up with a jacket. Maybe you tie it around your waist, or you have like a backpack. So yeah, I would say casual and comfortable, and be smart in terms of not carrying a lot of heavy things with you.
All right, thank you. I believe that's all the questions I have at the moment.
Those are great questions.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Does anybody else have questions about the trip or Greece or Eleonora in general? Or maybe even the application process, logistics. This is the perfect time to ask, and all of this is being recorded. So if you sense that you might have a question later on, or you think somebody else will have a question, maybe we can answer it as a reference point.
Yeah, and sometimes questions like, Adam, you asked us some questions, but I really expand on them. So if someone has a small question, I can cover other things too that may be, relating to it.
We do have 2 more questions now.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay, so what is the terrain like there? Should we bring different kinds of shoes?
Oh boy. So the terrain. So yes, I would say get the types of shoes that can flex and grip, because the terrain is definitely not smooth and flat like you would walk here on campus. You're going to have gravel, cobblestone, very irregular surfaces. Obviously, even in the city, it's going to be paved, but Athens is a very old city. So you may have a sidewalk with, a heaving concrete. So you have to be mindful. So definitely something of similar to like a tennis shoe. Some of you may like closed sandals. I would say something that's protecting your foot, so you don't, have open toe. You can certainly wear, people have worn open toe, like a flexible sandal, that has Velcro straps, and it's very kind of like hiking. I would say that could be appropriate if you want to have some option and flexibility, but I would definitely say flexible, great sole for like hiking and walking for uneven surfaces, because things could be slippery. Even as we go up to the Parthenon, some of those stones are so polished from so many foot traffic steps that happen there, that some of them are very shiny and smooth. So, you want to be able to have something that can create so much, like enough friction that you will be able to grip yourself. So I would avoid smooth sole surfaces on your shoes. It's a good question.
I would also imagine, if you're going to be walking a lot, something that doesn't hurt your feet.
Yeah, comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah, comfort over looks, style.
Okay, the other question, will these slides be posted somewhere we can reference them again?
Oh. I guess I can, this is my marketing brochure. I can probably do it as a PDF and forward it to you.
Yeah, if you want to forward that to me, I will post this video to all the e-learnings for all the students and along with the PDF of these slides.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. These are great questions. So I'm just personally curious to take a little poll. Is there anybody right now that already knows that you are going to start your application process? Like you're at that 40% threshold, you're really interested. Or like write your percentage of where you are in the process in the chat. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I can't see the chat, so you're gonna have to tell me.
Nothing's been posted yet, so maybe it's oh, we've got an 80%. Okay.
Okay, okay, good.
This is just because I'm
Well,
personally,
it helps. Yeah, it really helps. And you know, it's not something that will hold you to commit to, but I'm just curious, is this more of an information gathering or is it more of
yeah.
information gathering because I'm really wanting to go?
Okay. Oh, what we're getting a lot of percentages. Another a 50%, a 60, 70, 50, 50 to 60, 80, next year 100%, this year 40, and a 50. So
Okay.
pretty good. And another a 60 just posted. I feel like doing like a bidding.
That's so funny. So I would say everyone that's posted there. So how many, what's the count there, Kim?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're at 9, maybe 10. One just posted 30, just worried about the price.
Yeah.
No, you 9 to 10.
Well, I would say if I would say the 10 people who just posted, go ahead and put your application in. Let's look at it because keep in mind there's the scholarships that are coming. And Kim, what's the value of the scholarships and the plausibility of them getting it?
It is a range, I believe, up to 2,500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for the departmental.
And is that how many of those would be awarded?
To be honest, I am not sure, but if it is something somebody's really serious about, then pretty high. But I don't want to speak out of turn yet. There is for all of the scholarships, there's application materials and a review process. So assuming all of those are really great, then really, really high.
That's really, so that will shave off. So let's say it's 8,000. You're down to 5,500. And remember that cost also includes getting a passport. So if you have a passport, you don't get it. That also includes the ticket for air flight. So if the air flight, right now I'm saying it's 1,500. If we get it for 900 or 1,100, that's another 400 off. So it really depends on how, and those few hundreds really make a difference because it may go down significantly. So, and if those of you, I really recommend if you can have credit for another class, the tuition is something that you would be faced against anyways for your program. So that's something to factor in. So that's something that's a given. So if you carve that out because you have to do that class anyways, and then you're looking at a real number, which is much less. And let me go back to that slide. Yeah, so like your tuition. So then you're looking at, 2,000 of this, so then you're down to 6,000. If you have the scholarship, then you're down to 5,000. If you don't need, you're not going to do much spending on these meals, which I'll be covering a good portion of your meals as part of my cultural thing and my hospitality. That goes down as well. So sometimes students can really bring the cost down just based on how they spend and how soon we get our ticket. And so the cost can come down. So if you're thinking about the cost as your primary factor, I would say put in the application. because I will be having costs soon. As soon as I see how many people are signing up, then I'm gonna put in to get a quote based on that number to see how it can impact the cost. And I can turn that around pretty quickly. So as long as we do it between this October 1 and October 15, and then we all make the commitment by Halloween. So
And
that's,
yeah, the deadline for the departmental scholarship is November 2, but you can apply anytime before then. And let us know, or like send me an email and just let me know that you did that, so then I can push it through the review process, and maybe you can get that processed with enough time for you to plan for that. Or if you have other larger kind of financial concerns or other concerns, just communicate with me and we can see what kind of resources the university has and can help you with. 2 more questions. Where do we find the application?
okay, let me exit out of this. Hold
And
on.
another question, is the program fee tacked onto tuition or is that separate?
It's all part of the billing that Western does. Yeah. So it's all wrapped into one, like Western's gonna say, okay, you're signing up for this class, here's your cost. So if you have, let's say, financial aid and that covers it, that will be carved out and you'll just be left with the balance that you owe. Like if you have any type of assistance for your tuition, it would all be factored in as part of that. Okay, so does everybody see this here?
Yes.
So let me go to the beginning. So we go to S. You scroll down and you go to study abroad. Then here you scroll here and you go, oh, I'm gonna explore. So you click explore. Then you go to the bottom. Oh, I'm sorry. Then you go here to faculty-led programs. Okay, it's easy. It's the first one. And you click here. Then you scroll to the bottom. And you click here where it says Athens Western Routes. And you click here. Information seat. So right now it's not currently accepting programs. I'm seeing it right here, application. So I need to tell them to make this go live. So here it would say apply. There would be a button here to apply. So I can't really show you an example. So because it's, I don't know why it doesn't say active. So that's a good, I'm glad we saw that because there should be an application right here. And then you would click apply and then you would go through the prompts. And it has like a nice little circle, like as you do all the steps, it shows your completion, doing, it goes all the way around. I think there's like 9 steps. And a lot of it's like reading the information and clicking yes, understanding student conduct while you're abroad. It's factoring in, what it is, where you're going. It's, basically acknowledging things that you're reading. And then you have to upload a few things. I think one is the recommendation letter. I think you have to upload your passport copy, like that front page where it shows your picture and your name. You have to upload that page. You basically take a picture with your camera and you upload that image. It's real easy. And I think you need to write an essay. And then you write an essay of why you're interested in this, and I think you upload that. And I think that's it. So my homework, I guess, is I need to make sure they make that button live.
I did just post the website where Eleonora is right now. I just posted that link that goes directly to the Western Roots of Design page into the chat. So then
good.
You can explore, everyone will be able to explore all of those tabs as well. 2 more questions.
Yes.
What if your tuition is fully covered by the Kalamazoo Promise?
So it'll apply for this as well.
Oh, cool. And then
I'm almost, you'll have to verify, but I'm pretty sure it does.
What if you don't have your passport yet?
Then you have time to do it. I would suggest that would be something that you should do this month in October. September 29th, I mean, next week, you can start that process. And I think that process is $100, like to submit for your passport through the government.
These are great questions. Also, if anybody has questions that they want to discuss, feel free to unmute and ask away as well.
I just saw how to get to the chat here. I saw the little button.
Well, when I record, it also can export the chat. So if you want
Oh,
to see the the full and what do they call the I forget the word for the chat, but it'll export the full chat too, so you can see the whole conversations going on.
okay, yeah, good. Yeah, so now I can see. If you
Mm.
don't, yep. So yeah, so passport is just it's just a process, you know, you just go in, you do your application. And it's good to have a passport, so you would have it, I think it expires every 15 years, so you'll have it for a long time, so make sure you like your picture.
Can you still get your picture done locally? When I got mine, I think I went to the post office, but I think Kinko's does it. Like
I
there's
think they do.
places that you can go and get an official photo taken.
Yep, they'll give you a couple pictures and then you send it in with it. There has to be like a certain size and a certain background, and it has to fit in within the margins for the actual like face, like your quadrants of your points for your face.
I will say when I went to the post office, the woman that helped me was very nice and would allow me to look at it and then even gave me suggestions. And so she allowed, she took a few so we could look at them. So it was nice. I
Oh,
haven't
nice.
heard that same experience from everywhere, but yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, I think we could probably wrap up the meeting.
Okay.
Then I will make sure everybody on this call receives the recording and kind of pass it around through all of the students at RIDI, because I know many of them had other obligations this afternoon and not able to attend. And I'll send it to you, Eleanor, as well. And I'll post the PDF of these slides too.
Very good. Well, thanks everyone for having me. Thanks, Kim, for organizing this. I appreciate it. And I hope to see all of you March 1st.
Yeah, that's
as we travel. Well, actually, we would have 3 classes before then. So yes, it would be in January. I would see you in January.
all right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.